camera plate right here, or tripod plate. And you screw it in. Little tiny, see the green? With this little knob. So this would go up. Oopsie. Take it off, pack it back up, and you're all set. Use a coin. I have a penny here, and just screw it in, and then you should be all set. So this one, press that, toggle it on and off, like so. And then insert the battery. In this case, into the guitar. Proceed to the control room, where we will finally use the board. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put a camera on a tripod. So you're going to take your camera plate right here, or tripod plate, and you're going to want to line up this screw right here, and this little pilot peg with the pilot hole right here in the screw hole. And you screw it in, and you want to make sure that there's the word lens right here, and it's got an arrow pointing forward, so make it point towards the lens. It's also got this little metal shiny bit here, if you can see it. Tighten it, make sure it's straight on, and you're good for that step. So now you're going to want to set up the tripod itself. So to do so, you have these clasps on all the legs. There's 2 for each on most tripods, and you'll release them. And then you spread them out, and you'll plop the tripod down. And so now, because they're full extended, because I let everything fall to the floor. All right, now that it's set up, you're going to want to adjust the height and the level. So you have a little leveler, there's a little bubble here. I'll try to show it to you right now. Little tiny, see the green? You got a little level bubble there. So you're going to want to shorten some of the legs until it's in the center of the circle. So right now, I'm bringing that one back, moving it over to the center again, putting this one down, this one again. It takes some time, but if you want a nice shot, you need a level shot. And then you can also adjust the height. You can drop everything down. You can move the head here too with this little knob. So this would go up. Oopsie. Up, down. I usually leave it right here. It's sturdiest where it is. And then you can change the arms right here so you have more room to work with. And do it on both. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, tilt it down, up, side to side more, you have the release right here to clamp it into place so that you can't move it up and down like that. And then there's one inside here that if you spin it, it clamps it so you can't move it side to side. So right now this is completely locked and it's not going anywhere. So now I'll go grab the camera and we'll come back and I'll show you how to put it on the tripod itself. So now you're going to want to take your camera with the tripod plate on it and put it on the tripod itself. So you always approach it from the rear, so where these arms are, as you can see, and you'll slide the camera forward. Also want to make sure, because I didn't do it, is on the side you have a little knob here. Unscrew it, because if you don't unscrew it, you can't get this in. So you want to slide it in, and then you want to tighten this knob. There's also a release button at the back that you're going to want to press to slide it in and to slide it out. Forgot to mention that. That's very important. So also we have a zoom control down here, or focus, and iris. It makes things a lot easier when you're filming, so you don't have to be up here tweaking things and kind of moving your shot, especially if you're really zoomed in. It's really great anyways. So you take the jack, go to the back of your camera, where it's usually located, and plug it into the camera remote port, and you're all set. The battery power of the camera will power the remote. When you want to take the camera off the tripod, what you're going to want to do, go back to the little knob right here, counterclockwise, undo it, loosen that up, and then you're going to want to come to the back, press this little release button, right here. Whoopsie. Press it down and pull the camera towards the back. I know, it's forward in your case, but it really is the back. It's where your hands are going to be. Hold it down, pull it out ever so gently. It'll come out, and then you're going to want to unscrew the plate at the bottom. Sometimes you can use a coin, you can use a screwdriver to get it out. Take it off, pack it back up, and you're all set. This is a tutorial for the Panasonic HMC80, and it'll serve as a brief overview of some functions of the camera. First, you need to insert the battery into the battery slot, which is located at the rear of the camera. The battery release is located to the left of the battery slot. In order to use the camera with the tripod, you have to attach the tripod plate. So proceed to the bottom of the camera and look for the two holes. The first one is the screw hole, the second one is the pilot hole. So you want to line up the screw in the screw hole and the pilot peg in the pilot hole, and you want to screw it in, like so. Make sure that the lens indicator is facing the lens, and then to tighten it up again, use a coin. I have a penny here, and just screw it in, and then you should be all set. Next, you need to take an SD card and insert it into your camera. So on this camera, the SD card slot is hidden behind a dust covering on the left-hand side of the camera. So open it up, insert your card, and then close the covering. The power button is located on the right-hand side of the camera next to the hand strap. To turn the camera on, simply press the white button next to the red record button and shift it into the on position like so. The display screen can be viewed through the eyepiece on the left side of the camera, or if you'd rather prefer to look directly at the screen, simply lift the hatch at the bottom of the eyepiece, pull it back to reveal the screen hidden beneath. Next, you have to format the card. In order to format the card though, you'll be using the buttons down here, the menu, and these arrow buttons and the enter button in the center. So we're going to cut over to the screen and you'll see where we're going. So now to format the card, you're going to go down and you'll press menu, and then you'll use the arrow buttons to scroll down to other functions. Then press the enter button at the center of those arrow buttons to select it. Click card format, scroll up to yes, then scroll over to yes again. And now you just wait for it to format. And now that it's done, you can just exit, so you can either press enter or menu, either one's fine. And you're back to start. In order to properly record audio to the camera, there are several steps you must take. First, plug your microphone into one of the XLR inputs, preferably channel 1, located at the back of the camera. 2, make sure that the mic and line switch is set to mic and not line. And then the third is make sure if your microphone requires phantom power, which is denoted by mic plus 48 volts, you flip the switch to the mic 48 volts. In this case, you don't need it. 4, proceed to the other audio panel on the right side of the camera and set audio in for channel 1 to rear to use the external microphone. Now, if you want to use the internal microphone instead of an external microphone, simply set both channel 1 and channel 2 to front. Make sure that you can see the settings such as battery life and available recording time on your display. If you can't see these functions on the display, press the display/mode check button located above the SD card slot. So this one. Press that, toggle it on and off, like so. The camera can be set to automatic or manual control. You'll know if the camera is set to automatic if there's a green A located inside a green box at the top of the screen. So this right here. If the A is not visible, to turn on complete automatic function, simply flip the auto/manual switch to auto. The switch can be found directly above the directional pad, which is right here. So that is manual, this is auto. If you want to use only manual settings, simply go to the auto manual switch and turn it to manual. Now, if we want to toggle the iris between manual and automatic, go over to the iris wheel, which is located at the front of the camera, and press in the scroll wheel. It is a wheel, but it's also a button. So this will toggle it between manual and automatic iris. And when you're in manual control, going up will open the iris, and going down will close it. And then to go back to automatic, simply press it back in. There are two ways to focus using this camera. The first is by using the focus ring in the front. First, you have to make sure that the ring is set to focus, which is done with this little switch here. So you move it from zoom and iris to focus. And this allows for a very smooth focus control. The second is you can use this focus button right here, and you can press it and it'll do a very quick focus for you. So you can also use the focus ring, as you just saw, for other things besides focusing. You go back to the other side and you can flip it to zoom and iris, and you can use it to zoom in and out. Or you can use the controls up here on the right side of the camera to zoom in and out. T zooms in, W zooms out. So this camera allows for customizable shutter speed settings. First, you have to toggle the shutter speed from automatic to manual, my bad. So you want to go over to shutter, which is located above the display mode check button on the side of the camera. And right now I just turned the shutter off. But if I press it again, I turn it on. And to adjust the shutter speed, right next to the shutter button on the right is a speed selection button, or there's two of them, there's minus and plus. If I press plus, I'm bringing down the shutter so here, it's getting darker. And if I press the minus, I make it longer. So right there, it's really bright, but it's going to be a really choppy shot. So to set the white balance on this camera, press the white balance button located by the focus ring, and you get a multitude of options that pop up. The first one is going to be auto white balance. So throughout the shot when it's on, if there's any change in like color, if there's a drastic change in like whites and stuff, it's going to continually change the white balance. So if like there's sun exposure, for example, then there's auto white balance lock. So it'll pick a white surface, and then even if the light changes, it'll still be the same color, just might be darker. And there's a bunch of presets, which are kind of terrible. So you're really going to want to probably use auto white balance lock. And again, to select it, just press the white balance button located by the focus ring at the front of the camera, and just scroll until you get it. If you choose to film without a tripod, you want to turn on the optical image stabilizer, which is marked as OIS on your camera. It's above the speed selection buttons, so you just press it and that'll turn it on. The headphone jack is located at the back of the camera. It's located above the inputs to the camera for the mics right here on the back left. So you're going to want to pull back the dust cover like so. Then you're going to want to plug in the input jack of the headphones. This camera has camera remote jacks at the back, so if you want to use the camera remote on a tripod to zoom in and zoom out, this camera has it. The inputs are located at the back here in the back right, behind the dust covers. It's located under the bottom one that says cam remote, and plug one of the inputs of the camera remote in, and you'll be all set. It's important to take note of audio when filming, so you're going to want to watch the levels here on the screen, right down here, and you're going to want to have your headphones on as well. Make sure that the audio levels never hit red, because if they do, you're going to have clipping and it's going to sound awful and you won't be able to fix it in post. Now that you've adjusted everything on your camera, you're finally ready to record. So to do so, simply press the red record button in between the power switch. You're recording right now, you'll see a red dot on the screen to let you know you're recording, and then when you press it again, you'll stop and you'll see a green pause switch to let you know that you're not recording anymore. And that concludes the tutorial for the Panasonic HMC80. This is a brief tutorial of the Canon Rebel T3i. This is just going to be a video demonstrating how to use it. First, insert a battery into the camera. To do so, lift the battery hatch located on the bottom of the camera, and then insert the battery. Next, you need to insert an SD card into the camera. To do so, simply go to the SD card slot located above the battery compartment on the right side of the camera and pull back the hatch and insert the SD card. Next, you're going to want to turn on the camera. To do so, Simply turn the on and off switch to on the top of the camera and flip out the display screen, like so. So now before you proceed, you're going to want to format the card so that your video can be recorded to your camera. So to do so, you want to press the media button right here, go over to format under the settings tab, the first one. So it's got a little white wrench and a yellow background. Go down to format, hit set over here, go over to OK using the arrows next to set, press OK again, wait, and it's formatted. So now you're going to want to take the lens cap off, and you want to set your camera to the green auto setting or scene intelligent auto. To do that, you want to line up this white little crosshair with the green button right here, the green A. It's just a knob, so twist it around. So here it is. And this will allow you to use the Canon camera as a point and shoot camera. So to take a photo with the camera, you're going to want to press the shutter button located on the top of the camera on the front. It's very typical for a camera. It's very, you'll know where it is. Press it. Flash might pop up. Press it again. Take a photo. Push down the flash. To focus with the camera, you're going to want to use the outer ring located on the lens, and you're going to adjust that until the object in your image is in focus or out of focus if that's what you want. And to zoom in and out, you use the bigger ring on the lens. Counterclockwise zooms in and clockwise zooms out. So to look at pictures that you've taken on this camera, simply press the picture button, which is this blue button located right here. It's got a triangle in the center of it, and it's surrounded by a box. And here you can see a picture that I took earlier in this video. Now you don't want to delete any of the pictures on the device until you've successfully transferred them over to your computer or another hard drive. This concludes the tutorial on the Canon Rebel T3i. This is an instructional video showing you how to set up microphones and instruments for recording in the NCM Studio, showing you how to connect it to our X32 Behringer board, which connects to a Mac computer. First thing you're going to need if you're going to record an instrument or a microphone is an XLR. We have a wall full of them on the back of the studio, ranging from 3 feet to 70 feet in length. Today, we're just going to use a 20-foot long one. If you're recording an instrument, you might require a DI box, which can be found on the back shelf next to the field recorders. We only have one. The microphones can be located underneath the field recorders in the microphone bin. The next step is to take your XLR and plug it into the output of the DI box, like so. Followed by taking a 1/4-inch cable and plugging it into the input on the opposite side. 1/4-inch cables can be found on the back wall next to the XLRs. Next, proceed to the wall plate, which is located under the studio light switch. We're going to take the other end of the XLR and plug it into the wall plate. We'll use Studio 1. Next, you're going to take the other end of the 1/4-inch jack and plug it into the output of your instrument. In this case, into the guitar. Proceed to the control room, where we will finally use the board. First thing you're going to do is check to make sure aux1 is all the way down. To check this, go to aux1/USB FX return and turn aux1 down. In this case, it was up. Remember to turn the main volume up as well in order to hear your instrument or mic. Also make sure your headphones or the speakers are turned up. Next, you're going to want to go to channels 1 through 16, and you're going to want to raise the input of the Studio Wall Plate 1 to the neutral position so that we can actually hear the instrument. It can be tweaked later on if it's too quiet or if it's too loud, but to start out, keep it at 0. The X32 comes with onboard effects. I want a reverb for my guitar, so I'll click the effect button and then the utility button to bring up a drop-down menu of possible effects. Right now, we have it set to a 3-tap delay. I still want a reverb. Scroll up to the Vintage Reverb and click down on the leftmost knob. If you want to change the parameter of each effect, click the Page Select button and scroll over to the desired effect. In this case, our vintage reverb is FX1, so we go over 1. You can change the settings of the reverb with the knobs. I can increase the decay or decrease it. You can do this for any setting in any effect. For reference, this is what the guitar sounds like without the effect.